Welcome to War Thunder. What's up, dude? How y'all doing today? Well, recently I posted a video of my F3H2 Demon out on the Enduring Confrontation map Spain. And I posted my very first and only, to this date, kill with an AIM-7 Sparrow C model. So I figured I'd follow up with a little bit of my try-hard lineup. Now you might be going, what's your try-hard lineup? Well, the planes you see pictured here are my try-hards. And I'm going to be going from trying hardest to trying least hard. Now, number one in my try-hard list is the A4B. The A4B is a great little plane. And the fact that it can carry a couple of AIM-9Bs, which are nearly useless against an aware opponent, gives it the lowest battle rating that I would consider viable on a Enduring Confrontation map because it's a bomber. It's a light bomber, but it's still a bomber. It's not as maneuverable as a fighter. It's not as fast as a fighter. And it's not equipped to do air-to-air as well as a fighter. However, it is a very viable bomber. I think this is currently set up for 5 1,000-pound bombs. Yeah, 5 1,000s. They're pretty good-sized weapons. And they will do a considerable amount of damage to whatever you're going after. Most of the time, it's a base. And there are other loadouts that make this a very viable plane on an Enduring Confrontation map. Not just carrying a gun pod and 2 AIM-9Bs. That's a waste of your time. And a waste of my time. Number 2 on the try-hard list is the F3H2. Now, you might be going, well, it's got a radar and you can carry Sarah missiles and yeah, it's got the worst radar you can imagine, which has a hard time figuring out the distinction between enemy and ally, even though it's supposed to have an IFF. The AIM-7s rarely will track. You could ripple fire them and you are not going to get much better results. I carry 2 with the 2 AIM-9Bs, which again are LCD, least common denominator, air-to-air missiles. I think the only thing worse than the AIM-9Bs are the R3Rs. And they're not that much better than an R3R. Might not even be as good. But the plane does have air-to-air radar, and it has air-to-air missiles of both types. I just wish the radar could differentiate between enemies and allies, and then get a lock. When you've got mountains that are 30, 40, 50 kilometers away, And that's the reason we can't get a lock on an airplane, because I've got so much backscatter from ground, is baloney. It's absolute idiocy. That's why this is number 2 on the try hard list. It's not that it's a bad plane. I mean, the guns make up for a lot. They can do a good number of hits. But the missiles that this plane carries are absolute garbage. And the radar is right there with them. It makes it one step above the A4B. And by extension, the A4E early. Number 3 on the try-hard list. The F-100D. Now, the F-100D made this list because you have the AIM-9Es, which makes it number 3 on the list, or however you want to look at it. This plane is barely supersonic, unless you're at max altitude. I think it makes its highest speed when it's at about 38,000 feet, which in War Thunder you're rarely at. And even then, 906 miles an hour isn't really that fast. But then it has AIM-9Es. Yeah, why don't they just call them what they really are, which is AIM-9B+. They have an uncaged seeker, and they're still garbage. You've got to be right up somebody's tailpipe when you fire them. Otherwise, they just don't get there. And a slight maneuver by the enemy plane will make the missile go bye-bye. I lost my track. I can't figure out where I am. Again, the guns do make up some of it, but the lack of being able to carry bombs while you're carrying your missiles kind of puts a kibosh to it. You should be able to at least carry about 1,000 pounds on each wing. We're not able to. Hence the name Try Hard. Number 4 on the list was a tough one. And the reason number 4 on the list is a tough call is because the plane is pretty good. That is the F-8U-2. The F-8U-2, the Crusader, is a decent aircraft. It's got good speed. It's got good maneuverability. It's got fairly decent missiles, the AIM-9Ds. These are the type of early on air-to-air missiles that I would like to see placed on the F-100D. And also the F-105 and possibly the F-3H. Why? Well, they're Navy missiles. The United States Navy developed the Sidewinder to begin with. The Air Force came in later and said, well, we'd like some of these too, and we'll develop them our way. Well, the Air Force was kind of incompetent in how they developed them. They went back to the Navy afterwards, and that's when you got missiles like the AIM-9J and the AIM-9L and the AIM-9P and the AIM-9M. But the AIM-9D again, has an uncaged seeker, but it has a longer range. Now, the only reason I consider this my try-hard number 4 is because it isn't quite as fast at the battle rating that it's at as everything else. At 10.3, there are Phantoms, there are F-8Es, which are faster, there are MiG-21 BIS. So you see the problem here. And you don't get the Sarah missiles. You don't get the AIM-9Cs in this aircraft. Why? I don't know. I would think that the AIM-9C would be available to this aircraft also. At least then you might be able to justify a 10.0 battle rating, unlike the 10.3 that it currently has. 10.3 really does place this in a bad position. The only thing I can say that it has that the AIM or the F-8E does not have is an early warning receiver, which I am sure that they are going to fix sometime soon. At least one would hope. And that brings us to our last try-hard, the F-105D. The F-105D is a bomber. It currently has a flight model that is absolutely... how do I want to put this? If you've been in the game for 9 years like I have, you will know the reference. LA5FN. If you don't know what that means, well, the LA5FN back in the day was an absolute monster. And when I say monster, I am not joking. The plane didn't lose speed in a turn. It could climb indefinitely. It was just, the flight model was borked. Seriously borked. And I refused to buy it because it was a pay-for plane in the German lineup. And I believe it's still there. Well, maybe it's not anymore. Nope, it's not there anymore. I don't know when they removed it. But it was a premium aircraft. And I think it was rank 3. Yeah, I think it was rank 3. But the LA5FN was a kite. It could do everything. It had 220 mils. And it could blow any aircraft in the sky out of the sky. And that's the type of flight model that is currently on the F-105D. The F-105D is a lead sled. It goes really fast in a straight line. The real plane. Because that's all it was designed to do. Go really fast in a straight line. It's not a dogfighter. And currently at 9.7, it can dogfight most of the planes at 9.7. It can dogfight some of the planes up to 10.3. But again, even with that going for it, it's let down by the missiles. AIM-9E is, in my case, in my opinion, the AIM-9B plus. The Air Force took a Navy missile and did their own documentation and workup on it and didn't really improve it that much. That's why I say AIM-9B plus. Now, was this plane around long enough to have gotten something a little bit better? I believe so. It wasn't pulled out of service until considerably later. I would have to say mid-70s was the last time. So, would it have gotten their hands on something a little bit better than an AIM-9E? Most likely. On the other hand, would there have been a major push to upgrade the weapons capability of this plane after they had already decided that it was not going to stay in service because of losing about half of the aircraft production over in Vietnam? Yeah, there's that. Now, they've placed it in the bomber line, and then they've taken away the bomber spawn for an attacker spawn, and then they took away the attacker spawn now for a runway spawn, which I don't have a problem with. But it's now going from a sure kill of a base to a, maybe. Is that a bad thing? No. That's why this plane gets the number 5 spot on the try-hard list. Good plane. I like it. I fly it. I enjoy going after ground targets with it. But again, it's not a dogfighter, no matter how badly they've screwed up the flight model on it at the moment, which they will adjust eventually. And when they do, you can bet that the people who are flying the F-105 are going to be screaming at the top of their lungs, going, "What'd you do?" When all Gaijin's doing is correcting the flight model. Again, this is not a dogfighter. This is a bomber that just happens to have a few air-to-air missiles. Might be okay for chasing down a Su-7, but even a Su-7 can outmaneuver one of these. This is a big plane. You just have to deal with it. It's properly placed at 9.7. And that makes my top 5 tryhards. This Subdude signing out. Y'all have a pleasant today, a better tomorrow. We'll catch you in the sky in air realistic on the good maps, which are the enduring confrontation maps. Take care, folks. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.